Nobody talks about this one. They should. In 2005, a random user uploaded an SNL sketch about two guys eating cupcakes and going to see the Chronicles of Narnia. It hit 5 million views in weeks, on dial-up internet, on flip phones, before social media existed. NBC Universal didn't just file a copyright claim, they declared war. And YouTube's response to losing that war quietly became the most powerful surveillance system in entertainment history. They built Content ID, an automated fingerprint scanner that now processes every single second of every single video ever uploaded to the platform, every song, every film clip, every background noise in your living room that resembles something owned by a corporation. It watches everything. All of it. The demonetizations, the automated strikes, the reason a bird chirping in your vlog got flagged by a music label. Every single piece of that infrastructure was built because two guys rapped about cupcakes and a network executive panicked. You're being monitored by the ghost of a deleted sketch comedy video, and almost nobody knows it. Before the cleanup crews arrived, YouTube had a rock problem most people today simply cannot picture. Screamer videos disguised as optical illusions. You'd click a link from a friend, and 30 seconds into what looked like an innocent puzzle, something grotesque would erupt from the screen at maximum volume. Kids had nightmares, parents called news stations, schools banned the platform entirely. But the Screamer videos were the light version. Real street violence uploaded like sports highlights, dangerous stunts gone catastrophically wrong, content so graphic it would end a broadcast career sitting right next to music videos and cooking tutorials. No warning, no age gate, no friction between a 10-year-old and something they could never unsee. YouTube let it sit there, because the original philosophy was absolute, upload anything. But here's what nobody tells you about the purge that followed. When YouTube deleted those videos and wrote its first community guidelines, it wasn't a moral decision. It was a business decision. The platform chose between being a mirror of the raw world or being safe enough for advertisers. They chose the advertisers. They always do. 14 minutes, terrible acting, embarrassing production values, dialogue so badly dubbed it barely made sense. By every measure, innocence of Muslims should have vanished within 48 hours. The internet produces thousands of forgotten videos every hour. This should have been one of them. Instead, it detonated. Violent protests erupted across the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia. Hundreds injured, dozens killed, and sitting at the center of it all, accessible to anyone with internet, was a YouTube link. The White House contacted Google directly, not a legal team, the White House, asking them to review whether the video violated terms of service with the full weight of the US government behind the request. YouTube held its ground, for a while. What finally removed the video wasn't international pressure or the body count. It was one actress, Cindy Lee Garcia, who'd been deceived into appearing in it and was now receiving death threats. She sued, a court agreed. One woman's lawsuit accomplished what 3 governments couldn't. But the real damage was philosophical. YouTube's "we're just a platform" defense had collided with real casualties. That distance never came back. For over a decade, YouTube had an unspoken rule. Enough subscribers and the rules bend for you. Logan Paul ended that in a Japanese forest in January 2018. You know the broad strokes. What always gets left out is the detail that should actually disturb you. Structurally, the algorithm didn't flag that video. It promoted it. It pushed it into recommended feeds across the platform. Because engagement metrics have no conscience, the system saw strong watch time and did exactly what it was built to do. Tragedy, it turned out, drives incredible click-through rates. When advertisers discovered their brand logos were running as pre-roll before that footage, the response was immediate. Budget pulls, emergency calls, corporate panic moving faster than any PR strategy could contain. YouTube rebuilt its entire content review architecture in weeks. Thousands of accounts swept, new manual review processes introduced. Creators named it Adpocalypse 2. But here's what that really means. Every title written carefully today, every joke softened, every edge sanded down by a creator who knows better, flows directly from that moment. Logan Paul didn't upload a bad video. He handed corporate America the keys to the platform. They never gave them back. August 6, 2018, a 24-hour window, a coordinated experiment in platform power that nobody consented to. Alex Jones and InfoWars didn't lose a video. They were systematically erased. YouTube, Apple, Facebook, and Spotify all moving in the same direction within the same day. No law. No court order, no government ruling. Just private companies executing a simultaneous decision with no transparent explanation of how that coordination happened. Whatever your opinion of Jones, something unprecedented occurred that deserves examination completely separate from the content itself. A corporation didn't moderate content, it erased a presence. Years of videos, millions of subscribers, an entire media operation gone from the dominant platforms of the internet within a single news cycle. Both sides of the debate had serious arguments. Accountability for real harassment versus unelected executives deciding what speech exists at scale with no appeals process and no defined threshold anyone could point to. But here's the question neither side asked loudly enough. What is the actual threshold in practice? Because if the answer is whatever makes advertisers most uncomfortable this week and the evidence suggests it is, then the threshold isn't a principle. It's a market condition. And those change constantly. 2020 was the year YouTube stopped pretending it was neutral. The pandemic arrived and with it came something unprecedented. Proactive, ideology-based deletion. Not reactive moderation of reported content, active removal of anything contradicting WHO guidance, regardless of who was speaking or what specifically they were claiming. Licensed physicians expressing skepticism deleted. Footage of lockdown protests swept up. Early discussions about viral origins, which YouTube categorized as dangerous misinformation in 2020 and became mainstream scientific debate by 2021, gone. Simultaneously, 70,000 QAnon videos were removed in a single sweep. Here's what deserves more scrutiny than it ever received. The judge wasn't a person. It was a machine, an AI trained to identify misinformation, a word whose definition shifted week by week as scientific understanding developed in real time during an unprecedented crisis. Creators lost years of work overnight. No human had watched the footage, no specific violation was explained. The algorithm processed, matched, deleted, done. YouTube had appointed itself, with remarkable speed and almost no public debate, the editorial board of the internet, deciding at machine speed what billions of people were allowed to hear and evaluate for themselves. This section has no dramatic news story, no single viral moment, no celebrity at the center. That's exactly why it belongs here and why it may be the most consequential item on this list. Every day, Content ID built to protect NBC from a Cupcake sketch reaches into YouTube's archive and removes or restricts content with no legitimate connection to piracy. Historical footage claimed by corporations who never filmed it. Documentary footage of public events flagged because a copyrighted song played in the background of a crowd scene. Archival interviews, oral history recordings, primary source documentation of events that exist nowhere else deleted because a 3-second audio match triggered an automated claim. This happens constantly, not occasionally, every day, invisibly, without headlines. Historians and archivists have been raising alarms for years. The concern isn't theoretical. Irreplaceable documentation of real events is being systematically erased by a system designed to protect entertainment industry revenue, not preserve human history. YouTube has made modest adjustments. None address the structural problem. The gap between what happened in the world and what YouTube allows you to access grows wider daily. And because it happens without drama or a single identifiable villain, almost nobody is paying attention. Every deletion in this list came with a justification. Copyright, community standards, advertiser safety, public health, scientific consensus. Each one, in isolation, sounds not just defensible, but obvious. The justifications are always available, always coherent, always reasonable when examined alone. Here's what never gets asked. What is the cumulative effect of 10,000 individually reasonable decisions made by a single institution with no external accountability and a primary obligation to advertising revenue? That question has no comfortable answer. YouTube has become the primary repository of moving image human experience on the planet. More footage of more moments from more places than any archive in history. When something happens anywhere in the world, it goes to YouTube. When someone wants to understand what people were thinking and feeling at any point in the last 20 years, they go to YouTube. And that archive is actively edited, constantly, automatically, by systems that answer to algorithms, that answer to advertising departments. When you see this video is unavailable, that is not a technical message. It is the surface of a decision made by someone, using criteria written by someone, serving interests owned by someone. You will almost never know who. That's the point.